You're listening to Level Up with Melissa Zalouf from Iron Source.
So, welcome everyone to Level Up live from Gamefest. I'm Melissa Zalouf, and I'm joined today by three awesome guys from the game industry who will shortly introduce themselves. To set the scene for you, we are currently situated in the middle of a crater in the desert. We have had the chance to enjoy some food and drink that might be alcoholic, and there's music playing in the background. So you can imagine that hopefully we're about to have a very lively discussion about, in this case, creatives. So first of all, I'd like everyone to introduce themselves. Ollie, why don't you go first?
Hi, my name's Ollie Christie. I'm Chief Exec and founder of Neon Play. We started the company in 2010 in my kitchen at home, and our first game was Flick Football, which went above Angry Birds amazingly. And then since then we've done all sorts of stuff from casual to mid-core, and we're now doing hyper-casual. Our biggest hit has been Roller Splat, and we've done games like Buka, Cannon Man, and recently Idle Tap Strongman with a man pulling a toilet.
Sure. Amazing, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. So my name is Jean-Nicolas Vernin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Madbox, based in Paris, in France. We're a team basically creating games, mainly for now in hyper-casual. So we started with our first hits, which were called Stickman Hook, Sausage Flip, and more recently Golf Race and Idle Zoo Tycoon. What we're trying to do at Madbox is to build our own creativity system and design all games internally and try to automate as much as possible our operations to run the daily scales of our games.
Hello, so my name is Alexander, and I'm head of marketing in Plerix, which is known for its 4 and already 5 hit casual games, and we keep expanding.
Awesome. So we are here to have a very quick and lively discussion about creatives, which has been a huge topic in the industry. It's been a very, very big year for creative. One of the talks today called it the year of the disaster. So my first question for you is whether you think, how important do you think creative is in terms of having an impact on your business's sustainability?
I mean, in the industry today, pretty much the only way we really get downloads and users is through advertising. So it's fundamentally important. There are discussions about whether you should be representing the game in your ads. I come from the world of advertising, so personally I don't think you need to. It's about getting someone to click on an ad, and it's their decision to download it. They don't necessarily have to download it. They go to the App Store and then it's their choice to download it. Now, many players don't actually bother looking at the App Store. They just see it and they download it. That's a different issue. So I love creativity, and I wish there was more. And if you look at the world of TV and cinema and mixed media, there's so much creativity out there, and I think currently we're actually very limited. So yeah.
Regarding creativity, I started in 2005 actually in the mobile gaming business, and first there was absolutely no ads because the games were in Java and downloaded on web portals. And when the App Store came in and the Google Play Store came in, actually it was not so necessary to have some creatives because everyone was expecting to have a featuring of its game to make the games being downloaded and sold. But right now you have so many good games being released every single week that to have a good discoverability, you have to make sure that your team is as experienced in designing games as designing creatives. And in a world where the attention span is declining because the entertainment is pushing you to have lots of apps on your phones by that time, so being creative and being edgy to hook the small attention that the people are paying to games is really key to us right now.
Yeah, for sure, and it's for us it's also very critical. So it's critical part of our success, and we strongly believe so. So the progress of creatives is very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So a year ago it was just a kind of snapshot from your game. So some video of gameplay, and that's it. And nowadays, you really need to be very creative to attract attention, to be visible on the market, etc., etc. And so the speed of progress it's faster and faster and faster, and actually it's challenged by itself to cope with this, keep up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the interesting things is the different genre of games as well. So we Neon Play make hyper casual games and idle games, and often the thing that works best for us, however crazy and creative we try and be, is pure gameplay. and that's often the first thing we do. We'll just do 15 seconds of gameplay, and people within 3 to 5 seconds will decide what they want to do. Now, games like Match 3 games, which there are millions of them, they have to do something different because everyone's seen a Match 3 game or a Bubble game, whatever it might be. And that's where the creativity comes in. But I think for a lot of games, and especially in the hyper-casual market, gameplay wins pretty much every time, and it's always harder than it looks.
Alexander, do you agree?
Absolutely, and so as you already said, so you should be different on the market, but you can't be too different. Your creatives still they should be connected with your gameplay. They should be connected with your game, and because in any other case, when a user will come to App Store, they will just not install your game. So if it's not connected anyhow, so it's so it's very, very tricky balance, and you should keep this balance.
Right. Ultimately, if you're sort of running ads that aren't or don't closely or at least relatively mirror your real gameplay, do you think it kind of hurts quality down the line, or is it a function of needing to compete in today's ecosystem? Oh, Jean-Nicolas, I don't want to take that one.
No. It's I think that's what we threw earlier today in the conference. It's you can have some very quick wins, like you have very good downloads, you have a very good click-through rate and install rate, but in the end, the users that are installing the game in the end are quite strict, and they have a huge drop in retention because it's not the game they were expecting when they clicked on the ad. So you can fool someone watching a video like, what's this game, and even bring him to download the game, but the trick won't last very long if the game is so different from it. So sometimes it's good, sometimes you have anomalies, but in the best case it just lasts for a couple of weeks and then it declines, as we thought this afternoon. So
I think what's amazing about the mobile industry today is it's so metrics and data driven that you can tell so quickly if something's working. There's a classic quote that a marketing director said years and years ago, that I know that 50% of my marketing works, but I don't know which 50%.
So I have to keep doing it all.
Yeah, but today we know exactly what works and doesn't work. So you can test and test and test different colors, different headlines, different gameplays, how many seconds someone's watching. And so really we can just play with things. And what a wonderful opportunity to do that.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Never.
Do you think there are, speaking of sort of different genres and how creative differs across different genres, do you think there are sort of game categories where you can get away without using sort of high impact interactive or playable creatives?
So for me, playable, it's not connected with any genre. It's just a good type of creative, So it's attracts user better. It involves it's better. It makes it interact with kind of contact which is connected with your game. So it's just better interaction. But from our experience, so good playable is really hard to make. So it's easier to create a good video, but for playable it's even harder. It's not easy to create a good video, but for playable it's even harder because so it's kind of small game. So
it's a mini game.
Yeah, so it's mini game. It's all about UX. It's all about gameplay. It's all about fun, and so it's really complicated.
I think we're in the entertainment business essentially, and we mustn't forget that when people are seeing that our ads, they're on Instagram or Facebook or playing another game
or on Iron Source,
or obviously on Iron Source normally. But we're our job is to try and stop them scrolling, stop them clicking the X button, and so we have to entertain them or surprise them or charm them or confuse them or whatever it might be. Just do something to stop them scrolling, and that's quite a skill. And so we have to try different things. Now, whether it's just great gameplay or a different idea, apart from mum versus dad or whatever it might be, we have to keep on trying stuff, and that's how it'll be very interesting to see how the industry evolves, and especially in hyper casual where there's not a lot of creativity. It's very samey, to be honest, same headlines, same split screen, so that'll be very interesting how it adapts.
I think we're quite lucky to be in this industry, because there are not so many industries where you can have actually first it's the player, but the consumer that can really play or test what it's gonna download or buy. I mean, if you want to buy a Dermo cosmetics cream, you can see a TV commercial, but you don't know if it's gonna work when you're gonna buy it. And having something like a playable ad where you can have something, what you see is what you get, is actually an incredible way of engaging the user before he actually plays the game. And it's really a blessing for us to be able to propose him an ads so close from the product in the end.
I'm very glad you brought that up because one of the things actually I wanted to touch on is whether you think playables which do sort of like accurately mirror the mechanics of the game can also function as sort of like a test for marketability, for sort of prototyping, as part of the prototyping process for a game. Agree or disagree? Alexander first.
It's definitely it should definitely work for hyper casual, but so for example for us, even for casual, it doesn't work because for us it's more important the late game, live operations, etc., etc. So you cannot just easily test the core gameplay with playables, and that's it. So there are more complex and so more important things in our games at least. But for hyper casual, it should work, I believe.
Yeah, but I think in reality it's quicker to make a prototype in Unity and test quickly than make something in HTML5. So yes, in theory,
Unity are getting into playables though.
yeah, well that'll be
actually
really interesting to see how
Right.
the industry adapts, because HTML5 is very limited really, and some of the HTML5s are really poor. Bleep. So you know, I think I'd rather just test in Unity really on a real game.
Johnny Nicola.
Yeah, same thing. It's I think Unity is gonna get there because they have basically announced to everyone that they're gonna release some modules to produce playables very fast. So the roadmap is not officially known, but we know it's gonna come soon because it's a major demand from everyone. So yeah, and I kind of agree with what Alexander said. It's in the beginning for hyper casual, it's very good to have a playable because it's predictive of what the hook of the game is going to be, but I think it's much more difficult for more casual games or mid-core games because it's more engaging, and you have much more layers of gameplay that you need to add in the end, so it would give you an indication on the appeal maybe of the game, but not on the core mechanics for bigger genres.
Yep.
Very interesting. I have a last set of questions for you guys about Gamefest, which is where we are right now. Well, actually, officially we're in the desert, but we're at Gamefest. Why we operate in an industry that is saturated with events across the world and throughout the year for game industry professionals. Why has is Gamefest worth your time? And if so, why?
It's been phenomenal. And the way Iron Source have organised it, from the invitation through to the app, through to transport, beautiful hotels, impeccable organisation, really strong talks with great content and interesting speakers, the way they looked after us, the quality of people are here, so C-level people, networking, and we're all frenemies essentially here. You know, we're all in competition with each other. Has been inspiring and a lot of fun in a beautiful country.
Yeah, for us it's not so much about taking a plane and going to a trip because we can do it with friends and everything. It's more like we have so many memories with the Iron Source team since our inception last year that it's Friday evenings, it's weekends trying to know how we can improve a campaign and keep up game scaling. That in the end it's just the pleasure of seeing some friends that have helped us along the way and spending some time with them and hoping that it's the beginning of a very long partnership. So thanks again for Iron Source.
Yeah, and as for me, so I'm trying to avoid any conferences or events as possible. But Gamefest is 100% is an exception because you guys are doing a great job. You come together, you get together people from all over the world, from different countries with different experience, from different companies, big, small, so in different genres, and it's brilliant possibility exceptional possibility to exchange experience, talk to different people. It's absolutely fantastic place and
Wonderful.
platform.
Guys, that was great. I didn't pay them to say this. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for
Thank you.
this lightning round table. You are now all free to go and enjoy more alcohol and food.
To the bar.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you.